Testing. Good morning, everyone. Do I need to ring the bell? This time of year, I really feel like I'm giving you a mixed message when I do that. My wings? No, yeah, okay. So before we do our anniversaries, etc., I'm going to make this announcement now because I'm remembering it now, and I know I won't remember at the end. The ladies' Advent by candlelight is this afternoon, and they need to move some tables around. And so if we could have some of you stick around and help out with that, the ladies would certainly appreciate that. Okay? I think that was the big announcement I needed to make. The next thing is birthdays and anniversaries. Let's see. From today, which is the 30th, through the 6th of December. 30th through the 6th of December. Going once, going twice. I knew I was going to get hands that way.
On Tuesday, Tom and I will celebrate our 47th anniversary.
47 years.
Yeah.
All right, Tom.
I have another celebration.
What's that?
In addition to an anniversary, the Green Bay Packers beat the Detroit Lions.
La 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 la.
Sorry, Tim.
Sorry, we just preached about idolatry last week. Oh my word. It's tough for any team to win when they're playing against the other team and the referees.
That was good.
If you watch the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can't deny it. All right, boy, I'm going to call on Dorothy, and that's a relief. Oh, wait. Sorry, Dorothy. David, if this is anything about football, I am going to boo at you.
No.
Good.
It's my mother Debbie's birthday on the 3rd.
Okay, Mom's birthday. All right, anybody else before I hit Dorothy's list? All right, Tom, if you say the word Green Bay Packers again, we're going to have a big problem.
It shall not come out of my mouth.
All right.
Right now. In addition to an anniversary, a couple of days later, my wife celebrates her birthday on the 5th.
Very good. Wow, that's really super. Okay,
Yes, very soon.
let's see, here's Dorothy's list.
No, Liz. On the 4th, our granddaughter Aubrey Hartzell turns 21. And we celebrated it on Thanksgiving.
That's your whole list?
Yes.
I'm almost let down. Okay. All right. Shall we sing? Okay, let's talk a little bit about Bible class for the next few weeks. Today we're going to do something. Yep. There it is. We're going to do something called building bridges. This is something I wrote a number of years ago. There's a reason why. I'll explain it to you in a minute. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do next week, which is the 7th of December, but on the 14th of December, a number of you have been asking me for this. I'm going to show you pictures of our Greece trip. Okay, now my intention is that this is going to take up the full time. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and I'll remind you of this next week, is that we need to start a few minutes early. So if we could maybe skip the birthdays and anniversaries on the 14th of December so that we can get right into it, I think that that would be a good use of time. Danny.
You might also, for the couple of old people that we have in our congregation, tell them how they can send a picture in for the,
Are you hearing that, Lee? If you have a hard time trying to send in a picture, call Lee. She will, that's the church office, she will arrange something with you, okay? All right. Obviously, somebody listened to my announcement this morning. It's always encouraging to a pastor when somebody actually listens to what he has to say. Okay. So, on the 14th of December, we're going to be talking, I'm going to show you Greece pictures. By the way, I hope you understand, in no way is this going to be exhaustive. Because there are hundreds and hundreds of pictures that were taken. I'm going to show you basically an outline of the places that we went, the things that we did. From a scriptural perspective, what it is, why we're looking at these places. And if you have questions, I try to make time for that. If there are those of you who went with me, have some things that you'd like to add to it at the time, we'll certainly try to get to that also. But it's going to be tight time-wise, so if you can, remember this, we're going to start 5 minutes early and not have the birthdays and anniversaries on the 14th, just so that we have time for everything. Anybody got questions? Yeah.
I've got an anniversary on December 19th. 48 years. I gotta cut it in.
We'll talk about it next week. Next week I'll give you 2 weeks worth, all right? So that's good. And she's not even here. Okay. Wow. Here's the question. Is it worse to forget your anniversary or to think it's on the wrong day? It's all good. It's all good. But wow, I'm really glad she wasn't here to hear that. There are spies in our midst, though. I'd just like you to know this. That's right. Oh, boy. It's on YouTube. He wants to leave now. Listen, on the way home, buy the flowers, okay? All right. So, I think that was all of the announcements I wanted to make. Last year, the first week in January, I also gave you a fun, how much do you really know about the birth of Jesus quiz? Yes. And you were all pretty upset with me afterwards because you found out you don't know as much as you think you do. Of course, the problem was the questions. Wow, this is a year later. I'm still getting grief over this. I have another quiz like that. And I thought on the 28th of December, between Christmas and New Year's, that might be a fun thing. Oh, yeah. What do you think? Yeah. It's probably a lot more bad questions. But it has something to do with Christmas. It's not quite as directly scriptural as this, but it's kind of a fun time, and that kind of gives us a little bit of a break going into the new year. Okay. Let's talk about this building bridges thing. By the way, did you all get sheets? That's because there weren't any. Okay. So, how many of you, just by show of hands, had people over to your house for Thanksgiving? Okay, put your hands down. How many of you had people over to your house, or you went over to somebody's house, and you did not know everybody who was there? Okay, good. Here's the question. How did you find out who they were? Mary?
We were introduced.
You were introduced. Okay. Somebody else have a different one? Danny?
and we introduced ourselves.
You introduced. Okay, I like this. This is good. Now, the reason I'm asking you this question is I hope you see that between now and December 31st, you are going to have more visitors in this church than we will have the whole rest of the year. How will you know who they are? How will they know who you are? Okay, so I want to give you a kind of an encouragement about this because I think this is key. Does anybody know the vast majority of people who become members of our congregation, let's say in the last 10 years, and I've talked with Pastor Miller about this, tell you this. Does anybody know how do the vast majority of the people who become members here come here? Nope, it is not through the school. That's actually a very small percentage. Family can be part of it. Bob? Walk-ins. Yeah, that goes with the walk-ins. Carrie? They're really personal invitations. Sometimes it's people walking in because we are in a very visible location. That's helpful. But they don't become members if they come here and they don't find anything to get them to come back. That's what I want to talk about here because we have an opportunity this year with all of these people, and we have it every year, but I don't know if we always take ownership of it. So that's what I want to talk about as we talk about this thing. We're going to talk about building bridges. This passage from Matthew 28 is the key to the church, right? This is the purpose for which the church exists. Jesus told us this at his ascension. Go and make disciples of all nations. That's our goal. That's our purpose, is to make disciples. He tells us that there are two ways that we make disciples. One is by baptizing them, and the other one is teaching them, which means that outreach and church growth is really a pretty simple process when you go through this. There's really a simple equation there. You take people, you add word and sacrament, and they become disciples of Jesus. This is the way it works. There is nothing magical about this. There's nothing that is surprising about this. This is the entire process, okay? Every single person who becomes a Christian this way. Whether it was somebody you were related to that brought you in as a child to be baptized, whether it was somebody that invited you, whether you came in off the street, just coming in off the street because we were in an ideal location, did not make you a disciple. It was your involvement with the word and sacrament that is going to make the difference. That's what changes people. Okay, it's not you and me. The difficulty for us when it comes to this is that I think that we don't always understand how many opportunities we have. We have many opportunities for word and sacrament. This month, next Sunday, we will have communion. The 21st we'll have communion. The 31st we'll have communion. I'm sorry? I forgot. Christmas Day we'll have communion also. That's 4 different opportunities. We have multiple opportunities also for baptism. One of the things that Pastor Hartman and I are going through right now, because we're finishing up our Bible information classes, is to talk to the people about their children who may not be baptized. This is another opportunity to be able to do this. Whether it's in the mouth of a little child, saying in those days Caesar Augustus issued a decree that the whole world should be taxed, or whether it's listening to Pastor Hartman talk about the king coming in his imminent arrival, or one of the other 2 pastors in one of the sermons, we have a rich opportunity to do this. We also have the men of our church council, or is it the elders? Which one is it on the Advent service? Who reads? It's the church council. Okay, we have the men read. It doesn't matter who that is. The plain fact of the matter is we have all of these opportunities for people to be able to hear the word. The word is what's powerful. If it was Pastor Miller or Pastor Hartman or me that had the power to make people disciples, you would be in big trouble. or if it was only up to us, because there were 3 guys. We're just 3 guys. And listen, we've been through extensive training, more training than any other church body in the world gives to their pastors. That still doesn't change the fact that we're only 3 guys. Yeah. No, that's Ezra's dad. That's it. Okay. So, the problem is, it says we're only lacking one thing, and that's people. Okay? We don't want to preach to the birds and the rattlesnakes. That doesn't do a thing, right? We need people. So how do we get people? This is the key, right? Before we can get people involved with Word and Sacrament, there's one thing we must do for people who are not believers. And the answer is build bridges. So that's what I want to talk about this morning, because we have so many opportunities this month. And by the way, we have so many opportunities this month. That doesn't mean this is the only time we have the opportunities. We have them all the time. But I'll just say this this is going to be my 43rd Christmas in the ministry. Christmas Eve is by far, in my opinion, the number one opportunity for you to invite people here. It is even greater than Easter, because people who are de-churched, they don't go to church anymore, even though they have some kind of a basic church background, or they've never been Christians, they don't understand anything about this. Christmas Eve has an appeal to all of these people that nothing else that we do does. Now, they're coming for the wrong reasons. I'll be real honest with you. They're coming for the wrong reasons. That doesn't mean we have to treat them as if they're here for the wrong reasons. It means that we have an opportunity to be able to share with them the right reasons, and that's what we're going to do. But how do we get them from out there to in here? That's the key. That's the key. Okay. And if we believe that the Word of God is powerful, if we believe, just like the Scriptures say, that it is the dynamite of God, that it blows up sinful hearts and turns them into hearts that believe, changes them from the children of perdition to the children of God, then the only thing we need to do is get those people involved with the thing that will make that change. And it's not you and me. It's the Word and the sacraments. That's what we really want to do. That's got to be the goal. Now, there's a number of different ways throughout the history of the world that people have talked about this and done this. One of them is knocking on doors. We just had some Jehovah's Witnesses this past week that came, and Bonnie dealt with that probably way nicer than I would have. That's not helpful. How appealing is that to you if somebody knocks on your door and wants to tell you about their church? Not really, right? How about you get a postcard in the mail? Does that change your heart? It really doesn't. Is there a value to that? There is. There is. We want to advertise the thing. Sorry, I'm not raining on your parade here, Adam. We just got our cards from Redeemer too. So, okay, we still want to do those kinds of things. We want people to know that we're here. That's one step in building a bridge. But can I tell you the biggest one is you. It's all of you. So, why can't we just rely on our pastors to build these bridges? What do you think, Mary?
Because there's only 3 guys.
There's only 3 guys. That's part of it. Here's the other part. Who do I know in Tucson? I know you. You're already here. Okay? That's not helping anything. Okay? And I want you to know that each of us in our own way tries to get out into our community to be able to invite people, appeal to people. When I was in Glendale, I went to eat lunch in downtown Glendale almost every day at one of the restaurants. And there were a huge number of people that came to church because I got to know them. Okay? But that didn't happen because I went once. that happened because I went over and over and over again. And if you know anything about Glendale, that's where the city offices are. So I got to know city staff. I got to know the people that came in there regular. They would stop and talk with me and so on, because I was available, but I wasn't sitting in my office, and I wasn't at home, and I wasn't in church in the pulpit. I was out into the community. But it's extremely hard for a pastor, because most people, if I ask people, hey, you want to come to my church? What's the first thing they think? You know? No. It's your job. You're doing it because it's your job. What if you do it? What if you invite someone? Is it your job? Well, we might say, according to Matthew 28, 19, and 20, it is. But really, you're doing this because it is a personal thing for you. It's meaningful for you. And that is a way that you have an opportunity to build a bridge. We're going to talk about this in a little greater detail, but I want you to think about this. How can I build these bridges? This does not have to be white knuckle time. This does not have to be difficult. You just have to like people. And you don't even have to like strangers, just like the people that you know. It's that simple. If you think about it, is it easier for you to build a bridge to a stranger or to someone that you already know? Don't say stranger. You have an interesting group of friends. That's very obvious to me. Yeah, okay, maybe you just said a mouthful there when you say you don't have any friends. Okay, so the whole point of this is we have an opportunity simply to invite people. There is a well-known story among WELS pastors about a man who married a woman who was a WELS member. And every Saturday, his mother-in-law would call him and invite him to church. And every Saturday, he had an excuse. And after a decade of doing this, he finally decided to do that, to come to church. He is now a WELS member. Now, she could have felt like it was nagging. He could have felt like it was nagging. Or she could have done this in such a kind way that he realized that she was just trying to share with him something that she thought was important and that was also important to his wife, her daughter. The point of this was she did this in a kind way. She didn't give up, but she was building this bridge. Now, she had the marriage bridge already, but the personal bridge that she had with him, because he was married to her daughter, was the most important thing. And she continued to strengthen that bridge by talking about it. Now, ladies, men, no one's ever been nagged into the kingdom of heaven. I'm just going to say that up front. But invited, encouraged, that's a whole different thing. And if you're not quite sure, ask somebody to evaluate your witness, not the person that you're witnessing to. Let's talk about this a little bit. How can you do this? How about this? You let people know that you're a Christian. Now, this might sound like an automatic thing. I don't think it is in our society. Because I think that you talk about a lot of things except this. You talk about some stupid football game on Thanksgiving Day. Emphasis on stupid. Okay? Or, well, it's just stupid this year. It was much nicer last year. Okay? But how about this? You can talk about your Christian. Now, the thing is, how do you do this? Now, what's a real simple way of doing that? You wear a cross? Wear a cross. That really said. What do you think, David?
I was going to say either apparel, whether that's, a Redeemer Lutheran shirt or something with the cross on it.
Thank you. The Redeemer Lutheran logo. The reason we have that logo is it is a witness. It's a very simple witness. And if you have a Redeemer shirt, how about wear it someplace other than Sunday morning? You have an opportunity just through that to let people know who you are. Now, does that mean that's the only thing you should have in your wardrobe? No, because then they'll think you're a fanatic, okay? Or you've got a lot of investment into the clothing business, all right? Not that, but that's a way to do it. What were you going to say, Ruth?
Go buy something or whatever, some people say, "Oh, good day." And my common response to that is, God only gave me today. If I screw it up, it's my fault, it's not God's fault. I will have a good day.
Wow, that's a long conversation.
No, it's very, and I did all kinds of, I've never had one
Okay.
person say something negative to me for saying that. They just say, I never thought about that.
Okay, that's a unique one. Somebody else had their hand raised there? Jim?
I used to keep a Bible on my desk or on the back bar behind my desk, very visible in my office, and it was just always there. That's surprising how often something would be said about that.
Okay, a Bible on your desk. Very good. Let me give you a couple of suggestions here. First of all, just a reminder of this. These are words of Jesus. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. What this is an encouragement for you to be salt and light. It's to be who you are. This is not something that you have to learn. It's who you are. You are the salt of the earth. It doesn't say you should be the salt of the earth. It doesn't say you should be the light of the world. It says you are. You already are. Okay? Something to think about. Now, I'm sorry, I had a little bit more. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Get rid of the bowls. Instead, put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Danny.
Well, instead of when people invite you to watch a Packer game at the bar on Sunday, you tell them that you have church that day.
Thank you for that, Danny. He said, and when somebody invites you to watch the Packer game at the bar on Sunday, tell them you're going to church instead. You're getting rid of two forms of idolatry. I knew I liked you, Danny. That was good. Okay, so let's talk about this. How do we do that? Here's some suggestions that I have for you. Listen, there are a lot of other ways, and I'm going to give you these, and then I'm going to give you opportunities to do a little brainstorming, talk about this. Number one, we just talked about this. Use this logo. When I was in Glendale, I actually had stickers that I had people put on the back windows of their car. By the way, don't put it on the side window, don't put it on the front window. The back left, it doesn't impair your vision. None of the police officers will have an issue with that one. Back left, past a driver's side, that's the side they will see the most. And they will see that. It is a way that you are building a bridge. It's really no more powerful than when you get a card that invites you to Live Nativity, but it's something. And repetition. How many times did you see a McDonald's commercial before you finally went and bought a McDonald's hamburger? I'm guessing it wasn't one, right? So the whole point of this is repetition. Repetition. Next. Yes?
Drive like a maniac. It represents driving behavior like a Christian.
Our police officer says you are not allowed to speed and drive like a maniac. Okay, there is a double-edged sword to this, and I will add to this. If you got that on your shirt, for example, because we don't really have the stickers, right? If you've got that on your shirt, you better be pretty nice to the person across the register from you. Because otherwise, they're going to judge the entire congregation by your bad behavior. You want them to judge the entire congregation by your good behavior. Does this make sense? This is called kind of like wearing your faith in your sleeve. We're wearing our church on our shirts. It's the same kind of thing. Okay. Live a believer's attitude of care. This is one that I think that also is not something that ought to be an effort. It is a part of our lives. Number one. This is from St. Paul. Though I am free and belong to no one, I have made myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. This is, by the way, this is why your pastors, if they understand this at all, when they move to Arizona, they root for the teams from Arizona. Because I'm not here to appeal to Packer fans. I'm here to appeal to people in Tucson. I want them here because they have the same interests I have. Not because they have an idolatry that they still can't get rid of, having moved all the way across the country. Okay. To the Jews, I became like a Jew to win the Jews. I was here 3 weeks, and I was going to chapel one Wednesday morning, and I had one of the parents, who shall remain nameless, who said to me, "Have you switched your allegiance to the U of A yet?" Wow.
Well, have you?
You just illustrated my point. The short answer is I don't root for any college teams. I let my wife do that. Okay, the whole point of this is when you go to a place, you go and you live with them. And you love the things that they love. You eat the food that they eat. This is part of being part of the community. Okay, to those under the law, I became like one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so as to win those under the law. To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law, though I am not free from God's law, but am under Christ's law, so as to win those not having the law. To the weak, I became weak to win the weak. See, the whole point of this is living a believer's attitude of care means meeting people where they're at. Not where you want them to be, where they're at. Because really, you want to be able to show them that wherever it is that they're at, there's a better place. And that's in Christ's family. You can't do that if you don't have a way to appeal to them. And that's what's important about this. Okay. Paul says this, I've become all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings. Okay, all joking aside, this is the thing, is meeting people where they're at and being able to show them that you have a care and a concern for them through your words and through your actions. How do we do that? Avoid stumbling blocks. We've just been jumping up and down on a few of them here. First of all, 1 Corinthians 10 says, whether you eat or drink, whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Do not cause anyone to stumble, whether Jews or Greeks or the church of God, even as I try to please everyone in every way. I am not seeking my own good, but the good of many, so that they may be saved. There's a selflessness that's here. This isn't about me. This is about them. This is not about what I want or what my interests and my desires are. This is about other people knowing Jesus Christ. Because that is so important that it surpasses anything else that is important in my life. Unbelievers don't know that. They don't get that. People that used to belong to a church that have long since left that church for any of a number of good or really bad reasons, and I've heard tons of them, still don't know that. And so the whole point of this is we want to appeal to them on their basis, not on our own personal basis. And this is really what St. Paul did in all of the places that he went. So how do we do that? You notice that question a lot, right? Engage with people. I'm going to give you some suggestions for this. First of all, think of it. What are some examples of Jesus engaging with people? I'm going to give you a few, and I want you to see how extraordinary these things were. First of all, practice before and after worship. Oh, wait a minute, I skipped something. What are examples of Jesus engaging with people? Can you give me one? The woman at the well is the first one that jumps out at me too, because number one, she's a Samaritan. Number two, she has lived an immoral life with a capital I. She's been married 5 times. She's living with another guy. This woman, if you study this particular Bible story, she's coming to the well in the middle of the day. No woman ever did that. They always went in the morning. Why does she come in the middle of the day? She's an outcast in her own community. And Jesus talks to her. Jesus talks to her. Jesus witnesses to her. And he does this on a level that she understands. She talks about water, because that's what they're there for. Okay? That's another one. Give me another one, Dennis.
Zacchaeus climbing up the sycamore.
Zacchaeus. Do you think Zacchaeus lived in Jericho? Jericho is the lowest city on earth. Altitude. It's the lowest city on earth. It's also the lowest city on earth in Jesus' time morally. The people who lived in Jericho were generally not the cream of the crop. Jericho was the Las Vegas of Israel. Nobody chose to live there. You lived there because there was really nowhere else that you could possibly live. Okay, even if you were a Jew. You take a look at the stories about the people in Jericho, there's none of them that are positive. They're all stories like Zacchaeus. And yet, Jesus, obviously knowing heart, something we don't know, points at Zacchaeus. Can you imagine this little guy, probably dressed very well because he's so wealthy, hanging out of a tree? Does anybody see how funny that must have looked? I mean, you're talking about crazy funny, right? Zacchaeus, I'm going to eat dinner at your house today. And even in Jericho, I'm guessing that the crowd went, huh? Because he couldn't imagine that somebody like Jesus would go and eat dinner with Zacchaeus. By the way, if you don't know who Zacchaeus is, this is an assignment for you to look up the Bible story and read it. Can you give me one more? Anybody? Yeah. Nicodemus. Nicodemus, a well-meaning man. He is part of the Sanhedrin, part of the group that rules not only Jerusalem, but all of the Jews in the world, right? And he is utterly confused over who Jesus is. And so he comes in the middle of the night. And you think about this, Jesus could have said, wait a minute. You can't come and see me in the light of day? He doesn't do that. He talks to him on his level. And he talks to him about the basics. Flesh gives birth to flesh, but the Spirit gives birth to spirit. This is John chapter 3. Nicodemus is really important because the most famous Bible passage in the whole world is recited to him. Jesus says to Nicodemus, "For God so loved the world." Jesus also says to him, you're Israel's teacher and you don't know this? Okay, so he's appealing to him on his own level at his own basis. Those are 3 really good ones. Unless somebody, you got another one, Starla? Okay, very good, very good. So, how do we do that? So, let's talk about our practice just before and after worship. This is a pet peeve of mine, and I have to tell you that I have learned this over the years through the School of Hard Knocks. Okay, number 1, you talk to people. You ask them, where are you from? One more thing about this. Is this about you? It's about them. So you ask you where they are from. Nobody cares where you're from. You care about where they're from because this is not about you. It's about them. Where are you from? This is a simple thing. And by the way, if we say, oh, we're from Wisconsin, I say, okay, that's all right. We'll still allow you in the doors. Where in Wisconsin? Because we got a whole bunch of people here from Wisconsin. There's going to be somebody here who knows where you're from. Okay, next. My name is. What is yours? By the way, those name tags are really helpful for some of that. We had a man today that visited for the first time. I don't know if any of you saw him. He was carrying a Bible. He came and he talked to me, and I said, hi, I'm Pastor Clark. Who are you? And he gave me a look like, "Oh, you want to know my name?" I said, "Yes." Now, he was obviously in a hurry because it was one of these things where I'm talking to him and he's doing this. So I said, "Okay," and he gave me his first name, and all I could say was, "We're glad that you were here. I hope you come back." Because that's all he was giving me time for. Okay, next. How did you find out about us? This is a really important question. What if you find out that they just saw the building from the street? This is valuable information. What if somebody else in the congregation that doesn't happen to be there that day invited them and they showed up? This is kind of important, right? Especially because you can then report to that person, "Hey, I met such and such. He told me his name. He said that you invited him. I want you to know that he came." Why is that important for me to report that to that person? It worked? So they can follow up. "Hey, I heard you went to my church after you invited me. That's really great. You know what? We've got this next service coming up, midweek Advent service. We've got chicken in between. All right? Or Christmas Eve or something, right? Okay, here's another one. Are you new to the community? These are, by the way, these are questions your pastors ask every visitor we come in contact with. Are you new to the community? Why is this an important question? That's part of it, to know if they're going to be here year-round. Linda?
Travel maybe from where they are to where the church is or something.
Okay, yeah.
Convenient.
Okay. It's connection. One of the things, if people are new to a community, they don't know anybody, they don't have a church, they probably barely even know where the grocery store is, right? And if they're basically new to the community, this is an opportunity for you to be someone they don't have, a friend, a local friend. So this is really valuable information. This is also an opportunity for you to say, "Well, hey, can I help you with anything?" When I was in Glendale, I would very often have military families come because we had Luke Air Force Base. And very often I would have the wife and the kids there, not the husband, because the husband would get reassigned and then they would send him someplace else immediately, so the wife and the kids would be there by themselves. This is what I would say to her. "Do you need help? Do you need direction? Do you need the name of a doctor? Do you know where such and such a school is?" or something along those lines. She doesn't know anybody. So think about this. If I say to her, "I'll be happy to gather whatever information you have and get that for you because you may have a hard time doing this while you're managing your 3 kids." This is just, it's about them. And I did this over and over and over again. And my members started to do the same exact thing. Here's another one. Let me introduce you to another one. This is a pet peeve of mine which most people don't get. When you have a visitor that comes, please don't dominate their time. 2 minutes. No more than 2 minutes. What's your name? Where are you from? Are you new to the community? This is who I am. And when you find out something, "Oh, they're from Wisconsin. You know what? This person over here is from Wisconsin. Let me introduce you to them." Why would I do that? What do you think, Carrie? Now there's 2 people that know them. Okay? And if you're introducing them to someone that has something that is in common with them, you also have a bridge that you're building with them. But here's the big thing. You cannot spend 5 minutes talking to them. You got to pass them off. Because we want them to know as many members of our congregation as they can. And if you spend 5 minutes, or what's worse, 10 minutes talking to them, nobody else gets to know them. You're the only person that they get to know there. And when you do that, what if you're not there the next time they come? They know nobody. They have to go through the same process all over again. So pass them off to somebody else. "Let me introduce you to such and such. They're also from." Or, "Hey, let me introduce you to another member of the congregation," even if you don't know the things that they have in common. This is not a hard thing to do. And then you go on and talk to somebody else. Okay.
Maybe off-run some cheese.
He said maybe offer them some cheese.
I love you, Glenn.
Okay, so let's talk about this and more. So somebody comes to early service, you meet them for the first time, you go through these things, you pass them off to somebody. Let's say they've been passed off to you. Now what do? You go through the same questions. That's okay. But here's what one of you has to do. Hey, we're going over, we have a fellowship time. Why don't you come over? We're going to have a little something to eat because the ladies in our kitchen are the best ladies in the kitchen in the entire Wisconsin Synod. And they're going to put out a spread of food that you're not going to believe, or you get a cup of coffee or some iced tea or something like that. It's kind of hard to turn that down, all right? But it's another opportunity for you to do this. And by the way, when you're standing in line with them, there's going to be somebody behind you or somebody in front of you. Guess what you should do? Introduce them to somebody else. Exactly. You see how this can grow. And now that person is going to leave here and they're going to go, that was the friendliest congregation I've ever been involved with in my life. And unless we have done something that completely turns them off, like say something from the pulpit that they hate, they're going to come back. And if they don't come back, it's not because we didn't put our best foot forward. We did, and we're doing everything we can to bring them back. Okay. Questions, comments? Yes, Sandy.
When we went to sing at Grace, was it a month or two ago? And I introduced myself to this one lady, and she says she's been going to Grace for 3 years. No one's ever approached her to speak with her. And I said, are you a member of Grace? She said, no. But she's been coming on and off to Grace, but no one's approached her.
Okay.
I was the first person to ever talk to her.
And you weren't even a member there. Okay, so I have to tell you, when I was in Glendale, the congregation gave me 4 weekends off a year, once a quarter, where I just didn't have to be there. And we scheduled these, and every time we did this, I would let Bonnie pick out which church we were going to go to. It was not Grace. It's like going to work on your day off, right? So we would do this, and we went to all of the congregations in our circuit. Now, by that time, I'd been on the district presidium for over a decade. I'm the longest tenured pastor in the entire circuit. Just about everybody knows me, right? So one of those congregations we came to, we sat there for 5 minutes after church. Nobody came up and talked to us, even though I was a visitor and probably a known quantity. We did not go back there. And when I ran into the pastor at a circuit meeting afterwards, I said, I want to tell you something. This is what happened. And he was completely embarrassed. Now, my intention in talking to him about this was not to embarrass him, but it was for him to talk to his people about it, the way I'm talking to you right now. Okay? Now, we've been to other congregations, and we get treated like long-lost relatives. Which one do you think we would prefer to go to? I mean, isn't this obvious, right? All of the people that come into our door, and we have a lot, and Bob mentioned this before, we have a lot of people who walk in simply because of our location. They see us, and we have an appeal. We can't let these people come here and not feel loved. And we can do that. We can do that. And in the next month, you're going to have more people walking through those doors you do not know than there are in any month of the year. This is why I'm bringing this up now. Who's got something else to say about this? Darla.
This church does an amazing job with that. When we first came, we were amazed at how friendly the church was.
Right, right.
It really made a difference.
And especially if you're used to the frozen chosen, which is what the Wisconsin Synod has a reputation as. Okay? Yeah, Jim.
We've attended a church that are in the town where our grandson lives, and he hasn't been very regular in church, and we had the same case. Not a soul said good morning, not a soul said anything. makes it very difficult for us to recommend that he go to that church. Because we probably wouldn't go there.
Right, now look at it. I hope that all of you, if you move to another community, if you're visiting another community, will always go to a Wells church because of the teaching. Because of the teaching. Visitors that come here are not coming here usually for the teaching. They don't even really know why they're coming here. They have a general idea that they should have some kind of a spiritual element in their life or something along those lines. It's up to us, again, to love them enough that we give a chance to be able to share the Word of God with them on an ongoing basis so that they also become disciples. That's called building bridges. Okay, yeah. Jake.
To that.
Go, one of our newest members.
So we did come for the teachings, and I think the extra added benefit is everybody's been so nice and smiles and very well.
Very good.
And us, so that's our
Outstanding. And this is really good to hear. All I'm saying is we have a target-rich environment coming up in the next month. I want you to take advantage. I want you to be thinking about that. I want you to look for those people. Do what you can. I'm going to tell you one more thing about this. If you rely on one or two people to do this, we're going to have people who fall through the cracks. And if you don't talk to somebody because they're too young or too old, how do you know that you're the wrong person? You could be the absolute right person. If you think you're too old, maybe you remind them of their grandparent with whom they have this strong relationship. If you think they're too young, if you think that you're too young, maybe somebody sees in you their child that they haven't seen in 6 months. You don't know. And all I'm saying is, don't sell yourself short. You have tremendous opportunities to be able to do this. Somebody else. Yeah, Starla.
That picture directory would be very valuable because I've approached people that I thought were visitors, and it turns out they normally go to the early service. They're already members.
Okay, thank you for bringing this up because I was hoping somebody would. Yeah, I went up and introduced myself to someone and said, hey, are you a visitor here? No, I've been a member here for 7 years. Okay, so, no, wait. If that happens, what do you say? Sorry, but now this is an opportunity for you to get to know your fellow members. Is that a bad thing? No, it is a good thing. So don't worry about that. Just do it. And if somebody really gets offended about that, send them to me. Seriously, send them to me. Say, Pastor Clark made me do this. Let them yell at me, not yell at you. Okay? Okay, yeah, Carrie.
So Beth, and when we see these new people or people we don't know in the pews and they're fumbling through the bulletin, help them through the service.
Thank you. That's a great one.
Make room for them to sit. Don't spread out all through the pews. There's no room for another group to come in.
Did you hear that? When you see somebody that's sitting in the pew that's new and they're fumbling with the bulletin, it's okay to help them. Okay? Or the book comes along. If you see a visitor next to you, I'm hoping you're filling that out and you're not just putting Smith family 4, but what you're doing is you're putting your full name and your address and your phone number so that when they see it, if you can get them to sign it, they follow your example. Okay, this is really important for follow-up. And as Carrie just said, and if they come and they're looking for a place to sit, I know we all like our space. We are Americans. Okay, it's okay to be a little closer with your brothers and sisters in Christ in church. Okay, make some room for them. Okay, very good. Somebody else? Yes, Joyce.
I want to also say, when people sign the registry, the last 2 weeks, we've had visitors, but nobody has signed it. You know?
Well, you're not going to be able to force people to sign the book.
Right.
But if you have somebody in your pew that you know is a visitor and the book comes to you first, you better be signing in and giving that full information and just say, we all sign in. We would love to know who you are.
Yeah, I got another thing.
Go.
The postcards that everybody got?
Yeah.
About the nativity?
Yeah.
What we do is personally give them to somebody else.
Okay, good.
I take
So,
them to work,
let's-
we go to the grocery store.
Thank you.
wherever. Nice.
Did you have your hand raised or were you just stretching?
I was just gonna say to have kids to also pass the message on to them. Like kids talking to other kids. If my kids go somewhere new and another child comes in to make them feel comfortable, they want to come back here comfortable. So
Did you hear that?
No.
If you have somebody that comes and they have kids, what about having your kids talk to their kids? And now those kids that are new feel comfortable. That's a great point, Kendra. Okay, so one more thing. Let's talk about the car. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One more thing about how important it is that they do fill out their, I don't know if everybody knows what happens within like 24 hours of a visitor signing in who's visited. Within the next day, we have members of our congregation who go and visit and give them a gift bag and talk to them. We have a committee that does that. So that's how important it is, because if they didn't get talked to a lot on Sunday, they're gonna get
Did everybody hear that?
spoken with on.
Within 24 hours, people who have signed the guest register get a personal visit from visitors in our congregation that give them a gift bag.
And then it also gets followed up with a card thanking them to come to service. And
Okay.
they
Imagine if that happens after they've had 5 different people talk to them. They're going to say, wow, these people really want me to be part of their fellowship. That's a good thing. Yeah, Glenn.
That's been going on for probably more than 10 years.
It's been going on a long time, but the thing is, I think that we can kind of get into a rut and start thinking it's somebody else's problem or somebody else's issue. It's all of ours. It's all of ours. So thank you for that. Okay, one more thing about the cards. Have you ever thought about this? You get the card in the mail, and you're talking to your next door neighbor, and you say, hey, we got this card in the mail. And then somebody says, oh yeah, I saw that, I threw it away. And you say, that's my church. This is the church I go to. Okay, I don't know if I put anything else on here. Oh, social media. Yep, we got a couple more things. Let's talk about this. Social media. The Redeemer website is redeemertucson.org. I know it's a little up.com. Sorry about that. Just ignore this part. Okay. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For people who really are involved with that, this is a great thing to tell them about. That's everything I have there. I'm going to say one more thing about this. I've got 3 minutes. This is also a time, especially with those cards, for you to talk to your neighbors about the special services we have coming up. Now, we have this thing that we printed that's in the entryway of the church. If you don't remember the names, the dates, the times, they're all in there. And you can say, hey, you and I were talking over the fence one day, and you told me you don't have a church. Would you like to come with us? We're going to our Christmas Eve service. It's at this time and this time. And they say, well, I couldn't make that time. I can only make this time. Then your response is, then that's the time I'm going. And we'll meet. You can sit with me. And we'll sit there, and I promise it'll be fine. And then you can talk to them about how they dress, things like that, because these are the kinds of questions that people who've never been to our church will not know. What's the right way to dress? What's going to be expected of me? Is somebody going to make me come before the altar and wave at everybody and turn around? And there are churches that do stuff like that. Am I going to be called out in the middle of the congregation because I'm a visitor? No, none of that stuff's going to happen. But this is a way for you to build bridges just with the people who are next to you. This is also a way for you to build bridges to people who are in your own family, don't go to church. It's Christmas Eve. Would you come to church with us? Be like that mother-in-law, right? All of these are opportunities to be able to do this. The point of this is, how many people can end up in heaven through the witness that we make? That's why we're here. That is our purpose in life. This is why God has made us His apostles, His disciples, to be able to make other people disciples. We never know how much that's going to affect people. There are going to be times when people are just going to kind of blow us off. Don't think that you failed if that happened. Because the fact that you showed Christian love to someone never goes out of style. And at the very least, you witness Jesus Christ in your life. That's always a good thing. And we're out of time. I'm going to close with the benediction. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen. And I don't care which team you root for. And remember about the tables for anybody that can stay and help move.